And we're back to another episode of Let's Play Destinies. We are continuing on with the fourth case, and I'm not sure what was going on again. Oh, there was something that we needed to clear up again. And Apollo's about to tell us now with everyone back in their costumes. Oh, in the right outfits. Continuing on. Well, if you put it that way... What is it that the prosecution has failed to explain? Why was the body moved? They have failed to explain why Mr. Starbuck would bother bringing the body back at all. If the defendant wanted to kill the victim, why didn't he just leave his body in the rocket? Why go through the trouble of bringing him all the way back to the boarding lounge? Oh, that's true. I don't think we've heard of the prosecution's thoughts on that yet. That's because they have none, Your Honor. After all, how does one explain something so illogical? Mr. Confident Apollo there. Hook, line, and sinker? The prosecution is claiming that the defendant moved the victim's dead body. But what if the entire premise of that argument is wrong? Then let's hear your theory, Mr. Justice. The defense proposed that the defendant didn't kill the victim. He was helping him. Ah! Fool, right. Explain it to our sad friend here before I nod off to his monotone monologue. Inform me exactly why Spaceboy moved the victim. Huh? They've got to be joking. It's simple. Mr. Starbuck did what he did to direct suspicion away from himself. He wanted to create the impression he heroically risked his life to save his partner. That's why he made sure to make it to the security camera so there'd be a record. By the very least, he appears to have achieved success with you and the old man. One man carrying the other to safety. What a beautiful expression of friendship. The average person wearing a spacesuit weighs easily over 200 pounds. Dang. Saving the life of a partner who weighs as much while trying to escape deadly flames. What a dramatic sob story fit for the silver screen. Indeed, I was completely taken in by the humanity of the story. You see, yet the true ending is that all traces of his hammy act were meant to be blown up. Yes, and now we arrive at the thrilling conclusion. The third explosion.
Objection!
What are you talking about? There was no third explosion!
Silence!
Indeed, you are correct. But that is thanks to Detective Arm. It was she who identified and secured the bomb. However, it doesn't change the fact that the third bomb was discovered in the lounge. The steel coffin beside the witness stand. That would be a bomb transport case. We used that to transport the deactivated bomb here. It was found in the lounge. A bomb in the form of a most distasteful toy. What?! One on the second floor of the main building, one on the launch pad, and one in the lounge. The defendant planned to set off 3 firework displays. Unfortunately, the third was discovered before it could be detonated, for had it not, the victim's body and the other vital evidence would surely have been immolated.
Objection!
Words I learned today! Ah! Before you utter a word, know that the evidence supports me. It's like he's reading my mind. As it's still undergoing forensic investigation, I do not have the evidence on hand. However, know that a particular item was found in one of Mr. Starbuck's pockets. Specifically, a bomb detonation switch. What? You found what? That is exactly my reaction too, Apollo. I suspect the defendant had no time to destroy such damning evidence. When the Space Center Director and Detective Arms stumbled across the murder, that was the wrong tone. So he thought to hide it in his pockets. Feeble brain that he is. No! Mr. Starbuck would never do anything like that! Don't give up, Apollo! Justice Dono, open your eyes and see the truth. This appears to be irrefutable evidence that the accused set off the explosion. No, there has to be some kind of mistake. This can't be true. Still can't accept it. You'll believe in your client, come what may. Then why don't you cross-examine the defendant himself? That has got to be a trap. Yeah. It's like Blackwell's controlling the entire game. Yeah, it seems like he was waiting for me to bring up the body moving issue. Why do you say that? Because he had just the right argument when I pointed it out. And it really rubbed it in. And to really rub it in, he had a decisive piece of evidence up his sleeve, too. He was trying to shake my faith in Mr. Starbuck and break me down. Then, making you cross-examine Mr. Starbuck at this point was part of his plan, too? Ooh, sorry, I just had a coughing fit. Totally underhanded, but I would have expected him anything less from him. Now, let us hear from the arch-villain, the fiendish murderer himself. Famed astronaut Solomon Starbuck. Ugh. Witness, your name and occupation, please. Solomon Starbuck, astronaut. How did this happen? Mr. Starbuck, you aren't looking very well. Will you be able to give testimony? No. Wow! Okay. Well, unfortunately, no is not an option. You are being accused of the Space Center bombing and the murder of Clay Tarrant. Please testify to these allegations. Mind if I take this suit off? It's getting really heavy. Silence. It's not the weight of the suit that you feel, but of your sins. Prepare to carry that weight for the rest of your life. Banish me to the moon. I don't care anymore. Wow, that was super negative. Is he going to be alright up there? He'll be fine, I think. As long as he doesn't totally give up and say he did it, that is. That's gonna be hard to, like, keep him from doing that. All I did was support Clay over my shoulder and get us out of the rocket. Like always, I took the elevator down to the middle level and headed for the corridor. The elevator? Clay had passed out by the time we got the order to evacuate. I didn't kill Clay. I was trying to save him. So you were certain you didn't set off the bombs or murder the victim? But I bet you think I am lying, right? I reserved all judgment until after I've heard your full testimony. I'm sure you didn't believe me. I bet you don't even believe I'm an astronaut. I don't think the judge doubts that. Who would wear a suit like that except an astronaut? I will say that when I saw you in that movie, You appeared quite courageous, though I suppose reality never quite lives up to fantasy. I guess I'm just a big disappointment. Oh my god, I'm just having coughing fits all day. Ugh, I really don't care what happens to me anymore. Huh. Oh no, he's completely given up. What a depressive fellow. If you were to join me in the clink, I imagine that annoying sighing of yours would rub off on the other inmates. Like how it rubbed off on Prosecutor Blackwell a second ago? Huh? That was Blackwell sighing? Yeah. Mr. Starbuck's testimony contains a glaring contradiction. The question is, what does it mean? Even if Mr. Starbuck is my client, I can't be gun-shy now. It's time to find out the truth. Whew. Note to self, don't start recording just as I wake up, because apparently that makes me start coughing. Okay, well, sorry. Okay, we are presenting at the part where he says he's taking the elevator, like always, because how does that work? There was a bombing. There's the bomber. I'm pretty sure you couldn't take the elevator for that. Mr. Starbuck, I need your testimony to be as accurate as possible. Was I not being accurate? No, because it's impossible for you to have taken the elevator down to the middle level. What makes you say that, Mr. Justice? Please recall where the bomb went off in Launchpad 1. Also recall that after the explosion, the middle level elevator was engulfed in flames. Oh, you're right. Which means... Exactly. The Launchpad's elevator would have been unstable. In other words... Mr. Starbuck, your statement is decidedly inconsistent with the facts. Oh, what's with the helmet? Ah! Mission Command! Mission Command! Do you hear me? Come in, please! This is Mission Command. I order you to pay attention! Stop this nonsense and answer my question, Mr. Starbuck! My helmet! Ah! My oxygen tank! Oxygen concentration and body temperature declining! Requesting medical assistant! Ah! It's Mr. Starbuck! Holy crap! Damn! Mr. Starbuck! We are not in space right now! Please stop pretending you have lost consciousness and stand back up! I apologize, Your Honor. I forgot I was still on Earth. I feel like we all just got a real glimpse of Solomon Starbuck, the astronaut. Yeah, he seemed more like an astronaut now than when he was doing all that sighing. Mr. Starbuck, could you please explain the inconsistency in your statement? About how you used the middle level elevator? I was nervous, and I said the wrong thing. I'm sorry. I actually, took a different route, I think. You think? A different route? I hope you're able to deliver a straight story this time. I'll get it right this time. Maybe. No, I mean probably. Probably. It's understandable to be nervous, but let me remind you accuracy is paramount in court. Poor Mr. Starbuck. Let's see. My escape route. What I said before was a mistake. I remember now. I took a different route. Maybe... probably. With the capsule and clay in my arms, I made my way down from the upper level. What? So you're saying you escaped without using the elevator? That's right. There's a ladder that spans the upper and middle levels. I used that ladder to get to the middle level. Luckily, the fire hadn't reached the ladder, so we could make our escape that way. And the capsule you mentioned, I suppose you mean the thing next to Mr. Terran here? Was the capsule that important that you risked your life to take it with you? It almost goes without saying, but yeah, the capsule contains asteroid samples. Therefore, it's invaluable as research material. With his spacesuit on, Clay weighed a ton, but securing the capsule was also important. Then did you have any hands on the ladder? I need you to answer to the best of your ability. Mr. Starbuck, please remember that your verdict is riding on your testimony. Maybe I am guilty after all. I wonder if you could see the stars in prison. I bet it's more comfortable than a spaceship. Oh my god, Starbuck. Alright, we gotta present the Space Center diagram. When he was talking about with the capsule and Clay in his arms, he weighs his way down to the upper, from the upper level. Which one is that one? That one. I made my way down to the upper level, so let's present... Where is the diagram? Is that the diagram? Mr. Starbuck, why don't you just tell the truth? The truth? Let's see, the Earth is blue? No, that's not right. So, I guess the Earth isn't blue. Yeah, that's right. What? The truth, Mr. Starbuck. Ah! The oxygen concentration is super low in this area. Prepare the emergency oxygen tanks. Mr. Justice, the witness appears confused. Please help draw the truth from him. As I drink some water. Mr. Starbuck, under the circumstances at the time, you could possibly have reached the boarding lounge via the upper level route. Huh? Not as long as this was along the escape route. Excuse me. Presenting the ladder. To get down from the upper to the middle level where the launch pad 1/4 is, you would have to go down the ladder. Isn't that right, Mr. Starbuck? Of course. That was the only way we could escape. How would you climb down when you got both your arms full? But how would that work? At the time, you were supporting Mr. Terran over your shoulder, were you not? And remember, he was in full space gear as well, putting him over 200 pounds. Oh. Well, it's easy on the moon. Gravity is only 1/6 of what it is on Earth. But the Space Center is located on Earth. Short of being an octopus, climbing a ladder with an adult male in space gear in one arm, while carrying the capsule in your other, is impossible, wouldn't you say? Oh. So, Mr. Starbuck, how exactly did you climb down from that ladder with your arms full? Ah! Mr. Starbuck, come clean and tell us the truth, now! Ah! Engineer! Where's the engineer? Oxygen leak detected due to faulty maintenance! Evacuate immediately! What the? He's flying the coop! Ah! Help! I'm caught on the ceiling! Help? Anyone? Bailiff, prepare the cherry picker. We must launch our rescue mission at once. Starbuck, please. Well, that's one way to take off while being questioned. I'd rather prove his innocence so he can go to space again someday for real. Now then, Mr. Starbuck, do you think you can keep your feet planted on the ground? Yes. I apologize for losing control. Are you ready to tell us the truth? Ugh, not that. Anything but that. What is going on? This isn't the Mr. Starbuck I know. It appears Spaceboy is prone to deception. Witness! Yoicks! Yes? I thought your story odd, but perhaps the inconsistencies can be explained as the result of a medical side effect? Ah! Prosecutor Blackquill! Please! Please don't talk about that! What are you talking about, Prosecutor Blackquill? Didn't I already state that Spaceboy is, ironically, terrified of going into space? That's why he took some precautions just before the launch. For you see, traces of this anti-anxiety drug were found in his system. Oh. I sense things are about to nosedive. Hold it! You got it all wrong! I told him during the investigation, too! I don't know anything about any drugs! I never took any medications, I swear! It was found in his system, but he doesn't remember taking it? How could that be? Somebody must have slipped them to me. But I guess maybe that's why I don't remember. Because of the side effects. Yeah, that's why I don't remember much about what really happened. What? Rubber. Order! Order in the court! We can't get any useful testimony out of him if he doesn't remember anything. Well, this certainly explains why his testimony kept changing. Why didn't he just tell me he couldn't remember? I guess he didn't want anybody to find out he was terrified of going into space. Maybe I really did do it. Which brings us to the answer of our original question, of how the witness climbed down the ladder with the dead body. It does? So what is it? A dead man feels no pain and makes no complaints, Justice Dono. So the body was simply dropped down from the top of the ladder. Oh my! I see! And then the defendant could climb down with his free hand? Objection! Drop the body down? Who would do such a disrespectful thing? Disrespectable thing. Okay, I guess disrespectful works too. Besides, dropping the body down would leave marks on the body itself. So you are capable of quick thinking. Yes, you are correct. Really? Oh, thanks? Ah! Huh? What's this? It's the oxygen tank from the victim's spacesuit. It's ruptured, and I'm sure you can figure out why. You can't be implying it ruptured when the defendant dropped the victim's body. I am, for they fracture easily when struck. Objection! Even if that's true, the tank's explosion and shrapnel should leave its mark on the body. Yet, according to the autopsy report, only the knife wound was found on the victim's body. You're clearly grasping at straws with this line of reasoning. Silence. A spacesuit isn't heavy for the sake of being heavy, Justice Dono. It includes the latest technological advances, and is made of the fabric of tomorrow. This fabric is made to protect astronauts from the dangers of space, so falling a few Earth yards would hardly leave a mark on the wearer. Then shouldn't it be impossible to stab someone through it as well? It should, and yet, through sheer coincidence, the knife slipped through a weak spot in the suit structure and found its way to its target. What are the chances? You forget that our killer is an astronaut himself with knowledge of how the suits work. He's got me there. And now my argument has been proven. Miss Spaceboy killed the victim in the rocket and then dropped his body from the upper level. After climbing down, he shouldered the body and made sure the camera recorded them. There's no room for debate about these facts. It is clear that Solomon Starbuck is the only one who could have killed Clay Terran. Ah! Here, the report regarding the astronauts' oxygen tanks. Consider it my send-off. Feel free to use it as payment to cross the river Styx. Ah! Well, that's not good.
Hey, this report is pretty detailed.
Let's see, the display on the astronaut's left shoulder shows how much oxygen remains. I guess that means this glowing cyan digits represent the amount of oxygen remaining. I'm done for. I'm going to prison instead of space! Space boy. Yes? Take heart. The bejeweled night sky is still beautiful even when viewed through the bars. You mean the stars are as seen from prison? That's right. Your cell will be your spaceship. Picture the view through the iron bars. It's like being an astronaut in your own craft for all time. That's not half bad. That's not a half bad thought. Mr. Starbuck? Prosecutor Blackwood's got to him good. Spaceship, prison cell, fly me, my guilt, and my despair to the deepest, darkest space. And then, let's get sucked into a black hole together. Mr. Starbuck, you can't give up hope! Oh? Yes, Apollo? You know, Clay really looked up to you. He said you are an incredible man. He said you'd never give up your dreams and passion for space, no matter the situation. He said that? So don't give up now and help me prove your innocence. For the sake of the man who respected you and believed in you, Clay Terran. For Clay? You're wasting your breath. Ah! Ah! Gah! Sound effects, yo. Apollo, thank you. I can see things clearly now. Mr. Starbuck. I'm fine now. Thanks for reminding me of my life's mission. Right, we'll both be fine. I'll prove you're innocent, you'll see. And after that, we'll get you back into space. Ah! You've ignited the booster rockets of my soul! I'm on fire! I am Solomon Starbuck, astronaut, a cosmic hero chosen by the universe itself. This is no time to be whimpering and crying. I can't let you and Clay down. Balderdash. The sun, the moon, all of space is calling me. Solomon Soul Starbuck. Ready for launch. Begin the countdown. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lift off! Reach for the skies, Solomon. Reach for the skies. Well, I feel like I've witnessed an actual rocket launch.
Apollo, you did it! You broke Prosecutor Blackwell's grip over Mr. Starbuck.
I can't take the credit. It was all Mr. Starbuck. He pulled himself through. If you simpletons are done massaging one another's egos, no matter how positive your mood, my advantage remains unshakable. I have but to wait for the final guilty verdict. Isn't that right, your baldness? I can't let up now. I have to stop Blackwell. I have to see this through. Mr. Starbuck just has to make it back into space. This is actually really sad. I won't allow Clay's dream to remain unfulfilled. Why didn't they have more of Clay? I've got to destroy Blackwell's argument somehow. Think, Justice, think! If the only people at Launchpad 1 were Clay and Mr. Starbuck. And if Clay was already dead by the time this footage was taken. then the only person who could have killed him is Mr. Starbuck. So the only way to counter Blackwell's argument is if I can prove that Clay was still alive when they arrived at the boarding lounge. In which case, I should be able to find some contradictions in the evidence itself. Now let's see, about this data that we just received. This supposedly proves that Mr. Starbuck dropped Clay's body in Launchpad 1. But if I'm going to prove that false, then there must be something I can use here. Enough of this farce, your baldness. Let's have your verdict. Prosecutor Blackwell, you seem to be in quite a hurry to rush the verdict. But about this oxygen tank data you submitted just now. It says that Mr. Starbuck's tank had 80% remaining while Mr. Terrain had 0. Do you stand by the accuracy of this report? Of course. Then I guess it simply means that it's faulty as evidence goes. You explain what you mean, Justice Dodo. But you can see it in the picture, it's really obvious! It's simple. The evidence contradicts the facts of this case. Take a look here at the detailed description and you'll see what I mean. I hope you have some evidence, Mr. Justice, because I don't see what's so contradictory. But it's... yes, Your Honor, right away. This is the evidence that the oxygen tank report stands in contradiction to. Security camera. And how does this evidence present a contradiction? The problem is this part here. Like, this is stupidly glaring out. I don't remember Ace Attorney games with evidence this glaring. Note that the remaining oxygen in Mr. Starbuck's tank as he carries Mr. Terran. It appears to say 50. Yes, but according to the data, our client's tank had 80% remaining. The oxygen in the tank increased? I see Your Honor finds it as strange as I do. It's bad enough that there's a contradiction, but the increase in oxygen is beyond illogical. Oh my! You're absolutely right! What is going on here? I too find it odd that the oxygen remaining has increased. It would be as odd as if my rations were to increase. But what does that prove? It doesn't change the fact that it is the defendant carrying the victim's corpse. Heh, I'm going to bet you don't get more rations because you don't abide by the rules. And we're going to stop here. I gave it a little 2 more minutes just because I did have some moments where I had to stop. But God, we're so close to the end of this court case, but I don't want to take it too long, so we're going to stop here. So I'll see you guys in the next video, and hopefully I will not fall into more coughing fits and, yeah, stuff like that. Laters!